Okay, so we are really lucky to bump into Mr. Rod Abbotson. He's a PADI course director, one of the pioneers in the diving industry in Aqaba. Probably knows all the history of dive sites, probably named most of the dive sites.
True.
And and you know the history for that. But we want to talk about one section that not too many people could cover here in Aqaba. Now you are a PADI course director for recreational diving.
Yes.
And concerning technical diving, what other qualifications you can actually tell us about?
I'm a technical instructor trainer, so I can teach instructors all the way through up to full trimix and deep diving.
Yeah, trimix, to make it a little bit clear for people that don't know, trimix is mixing regular air with a third gas, which is the helium.
Helium, yes, that's right, and that allows you to go deeper without the narcosis that air would cause.
Yeah.
So it's a safer gas to use for when you're diving deeper than 60 meters or so.
Okay, so can we in Jordan certify all the levels when it comes to technical diving?
Yes, we can certify all the levels completely, all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do we have the right conditions to teach technical diving?
Absolutely. This is the super advantage here in Aqaba, in Jordan. We have very little tides and currents. We have amazing visibility.
Yeah. So two things not to take in consideration when you do extreme diving or
so
technical diving.
when people are learning to do technical diving here, there's less distraction with the environmental things around because of the really good conditions. So it's a very good place to learn technical diving, but then they need to gain experience as well, and also gain experience elsewhere. They're certified to dive 100 meters, for example, in Aqaba. It would be a big difference doing 100 meters back in the UK, for example. So
the water temperature, visibility,
exactly,
and all
just
that.
like everything else, then people need to gain experience in the environment that they're other than they've learned. But saying that, it's a fantastic place to start learning. Just like when we learn recreational diving, we learn in a nice calm conditions, in warm water or in a nice swimming pool. Same way with technical diving. Learning all these new skills, it's excellent here.
Can we in Jordan provide the proper equipment for technical diving, or do you recommend people who are learning to have their own equipment?
We can provide the equipment when they're learning, but as with all other diving, it's important to have your own equipment. More so in technical diving, because then you get it very personalised towards you, and you're using this at great depth. This is your lifeline. So it's very important that people actually do get their equipment, in their own equipment, after they've learned to dive. But learning to dive is one of those things when they're learning to technical dive, then they can get used and find out what type of equipment they want and what suits them better.
Okay, all right. Can we? I know that we have one of the most amazing technical dive sites in Aqaba is the power station, and because I dived the power station and I dived other deep dives in the region. In comparison between the power station and some other deep dives that even some of the dive sites has its horrifying reputation. In comparison, can we actually compete when it comes to technical diving?
Absolutely. The power station dive is a fantastic place. You can even take people on tri-dives and snorkeling there in the shallow waters by the reef, and you get immediate access to depths greater than 100 meters.
Which is the drop.
Which it doesn't drop off to hundreds of meters like a lot of people think. It drops off to about 40, 50, 60. Then there's gullies and ledges and things going down, and it's fantastic topography down there. Lots of places to explore. And the beauty of it is when you're decompressing, you come up the reef. You're not coming up a line in a blue.
You are not hanging.
You're in the leaf, so you're like doing 2-3 dives in one. You're coming up and you're enjoying all these fantastic corals in the shallow depths where there's much light for the rest of the dive. And you know. I used to stage a camera which wouldn't go down deep, and I used to take lots of photographs of the shallows to while away the decompression time.
Okay, and now we talked about the deep dive sites, and can we briefly talk about the deep wrecks we have here?
Yes, we have a couple of deep wrecks here that are actually very nice, which is unusual to get them in a nice sort of diveable depths. These are both in the deep air range or maybe normoxic trimix range, which means you have the same amount of oxygen as you would, or a little bit less. Basically, the Taeyong is a wreck that we found in 1994.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was scuttled in we found in 2004.
2004.
Yeah, it was scuttled in 1999, just on the millennium. Yeah.
Yeah.
And middle of the night. It's very strange. Anyway, we found this, and it was deep off the Japanese Gardens, which is a fantastic dive site in its own right. And this wreck is just sitting there, and it's covered in beautiful corals.
And you still can go down the slope and finish
you can
the
go
dive
down
up
the rope,
the
and you
slope.
can finish up the rope
And decompress on top of the reef.
Decompress on top of the reef, as you say, in the Japanese Gardens, which is really a nice place to do. Anyway, so it's like doing 2 dives in one dive.
Again, yeah, true.
And in 2008, the Aqaba Marine Park, there was a ship called North 3 actually.
Oh yeah, the
and
previous
it was
name.
originally Aqaba Star, and it was called reclaimed North 3, and it went on a southerly wind. It got beached up where now the Kempinski Hotel is, and they couldn't finish the hotel beach, so they had to move it. So everybody campaigned to try and get this scuttled as a wreck. So we had another diving attraction.
Yeah.
And they scuttled this deep off a dive site called Eel Canyon. And they dropped it down there, and it's now lying in 40 to 60 meters depth, which is fantastic for basically people, when they're finishing their tech courses, we can actually do a nice dive on that, and the Taiyong to finish up the courses. It makes it really nice.
Fantastic.
And again, a few divers down there, 10% of divers doing tech diving, so the site's fantastically well preserved, lots of fish life, and even that's only been down for 8 years now. There is an amazing amount of soft coral growth on. The colours are fantastic, really good angles for photography and everything.
Okay, and a lot more to offer when it comes to deep diving. So here is your man if you want to know anything when it comes to technical diving. Thank you very much, Rod.
Okay,
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Yes.